Okay, Zach, let's have a look at the sketchbook. I still think you should rescue that image off the front. Okay, mind map, and it'll be good to have some some imagery perhaps around the edge. I think that's too vital. Done a nice job of that drawing here. I think some of the presentation on the titles, getting them central, maybe typing them up, that kind of thing would be useful. Another strong page, drawing using pattern. And some development of the actual patterns itself. This will come in use when we look at the abstract artwork using patterns later on. Okay, so already you've departed quite a lot from the starting point. Very interesting. But you want to say what you've done and how you've adapted the original drawings a little bit, just to show that it's deliberate. Maybe even the title just saying distorting the images of food further. Pastel drawing, again, sort out the title a little bit. It presents it a lot better if you've got it a little bit neater, I'd say, because the piece itself is looking very interesting indeed. I think even at this stage, going back and seeing perhaps where some little areas might do with a little bit more work, possibly around here with this detail going down here just kind of disappears. We have to dig up the photograph and maybe have another look. You've got some good mixture of greens and so on in there, tidying up the edges. It's looking good. Okay, so there we go into print experiments. Sort out the title, that's my writing still. You've got 6 variations here. Perhaps there's some way you could compare them and say how you chose which one to go on and use. I would document all the things you do. I think you need some additional print on top of these, which will help to show off what you've got and what you can do. The images here, a little bit untidy. I mean, there's a lot more of them as well, so you need another fold-out page, I'd say, here, plus a little bit of writing about them. And you go straight on to M. Lee, and you want a little title in there, possibly. Well, you've got the details on the next page, but you want to sort out the title a little bit there. Maybe under here, looking at how prints made in overlapping layers, or images made in layers, or looking at M. Lee or something, so that we know what this is about. Now, this is great. If you wanted to take it even further, maybe there's different tones you could get in of the purple, and making it more obvious, like you've done here, that it's overlapping. A little bit about her would be useful. What if, maybe there's some other little bits of this mind map that could sort of fill in the gaps, perhaps. Okay, so it might be nice to have something stuck over that little bit there, or some other information about Warhol. But you've done a nice job of that. And, maybe asking why it is like a kind of half filled in painting, thinking a little bit about pop art and what it does and so on. It wouldn't hurt to do an entire fold-out page on pop art. That, in fact, would be a rather good thing to do. So we're into the prints. You're going to have some kind of evaluation there, typed, whatever it is, something saying what you've done to arrive at this, what these little blue things are. It's a great print. Are there other experiments? What you plan to do with these? Okay, so now you've got these two people. We know who they are. Perhaps there's some way, certainly this will need a little bit more work on it, this one. Rather like the little bits of detail you got coming out around here. It's quite outliney. Maybe that's okay this time round. It'd be good to get some colour studies in too, to make this a really full page. Some comparison between the two might be useful, or just questions like why did she make them like this? What does it make you think of? You need some way of getting those ideas down. Why focus on a piece of rubbish? This page here could do with something down here. It's kind of looking a little bit scrappy. We were looking at drawing styles, so maybe some of the images of the people who do the different drawing styles. For example, Giacometti, this person we're looking at here. We could do some images of Giacometti's work just down here. That's looking good. We've got the perspective coming up. We need that title. That's my writing. You want to get rid of my writing and make it your own title. Finish this off and talk about how this is to do with perspective, how the lines all match up at a vanishing point like they would on here. I do it in pencil first, the writing, because you can always rub out. All right, trimming this would be nice. Again, own title, use stencils perhaps, or do the letters in different drawing styles. Yeah, slightly coming through from underneath. I think that's because I used fixative on the pastel piece underneath. This image has a lot of rain in it. It's got clouds in it and so on. So having those lines coming down in some way, carefully put in, will help to build the whole scene. The precise composition with these overlapping lines, the fact that this is actually a print made up of several blocks put one on top of the other, or rather several colours put one on top of the other from the same block. We need to know this is built out of layers too, just like the Emily. That's looking great. I do a little bit more maybe to tidy the edges here, but that's looking good. I would, things like lining up this picture here so it's square with the page would be useful. And of course, a little bit more writing about the materials underneath. Good to see that completed and completed well. It'd be nice to see some more. No, you completed that well. It's good. It's looking good. All right, I like the ambitious size of it, but again, just double check there's not some way you could emphasize the scratchiness of this picture. And you've got Show Green there, and you've got Kimura, but no kind of real example or study, and so the whole page looks a little bit sort of lost, really. You want to be thinking about what could go in there, or just lose that part and maybe do a study in here of the Show Green. And this might just need a rethink, so you can squeeze in a detail study here or here. The mind map tends to kind of sprawl a little bit, which is okay, but it needs to be contrasted by having some very sort of sharp looking areas, so it looks more like the kind of casual nature of that is sort of more deliberate perhaps, or you've chosen for it to be that way or tolerated it being that way. That's more the kind of thing. Now, strong cross hatching, big study, needs the writing, or it could be the typed stuff, or it could even be an address of somewhere where you've actually you've spoken about the work. This is a drawing style where there's lots of cross hatching, and so getting that across, just noticing how the cross hatching is very different from the Kimura and very different from the Show Green. Okay, we need to know this is abstract experiments, and so having some abstract art in there from perhaps the sheets I gave you would be useful, maybe a separate pull-out page. Colour palettes, yeah. Who's the work by? This guy, Giorgio Morandi, the same guy that did the cross-hatching. Very nice job you've done with that. More colour studies. How is these colours different from these colours? Okay, now you start looking into the animation. Very exciting. Again, change the title. A few bits of annotation down here. I think it just needs to be a bit more of it. The book's rearranged so that now you've got drawings of the models for the animation. Yep, title again, change the title. And then you've got the images of the actual pieces you've made. I spent a long time doing them. So I would talk about the difficulties you had with the bending of the armature, the skeleton that you made inside the plasticine. We need to know a little bit about that, whether it works, and also what you plan to do. We need like a storyboard, written, drawn, something where we get an idea of how this is going to go together. Dissection photos, got loads of them online. Just follow the links off the course content PowerPoint on the website. I'll give you a link immediately underneath this video. So lots of dissection stuff. This is all very helpful, good stuff, useful for your own animation, for your drawing of figures and so on. Plenty of room under here. Again, more pictures of the Gunther von Hagens under here would be useful. Okay, so there's some good stuff in there, but it really needs a regular bit of input and seeing things through. And I think there might be one or two bits missing. Check on the course content. There's a link to it immediately underneath this video.